In this short video series, I'd like to walk you through the process of programming your first part in HSM. If you plan on following along, go ahead and open up My First Part. We're going to start this process with a facing operation. So, activate your CAM tab and select Face. We're going to click Library and navigate to the Tutorial Inch Library. Here we can select the 2-inch face mill and press Select. I'll simply click OK, and we have a facing operation across the top of our part. You'll also notice we moved from the Feature Manager design tree, where we maintain a history of how the part was modeled, to our CAM Manager tree, where we'll begin to maintain a history of how we're going to manufacture the part. The other thing that's happened is we've created what we call a job, or a setup. A job is used each time we're going to fixture the part in a machine. Jobs can be created by using the job icon on the Command Manager, or automatically created, as it was in our case, when you're creating your first operation on a part. Let's go ahead and right-click the job and select Edit to take a look at what information is captured within the job. The first thing we're going to notice is an area that defines the model we're machining. In this case, we have a single part body, so that's the only model we're going to be machining. But in many cases, you'll be machining a part that's in an assembly with a fixture of the vise and such, so you'll define which component it is you want to machine. Next, you'll find an area that defines the stock. In our case, we used an automatic bounding box that simply added material around the volume of our part to produce a billet that we could machine this part from. But as you'll see from the tooltip, we can also define the stock using a cylindrical bounding box, a sketch, or even a solid body of a casting or forging or a billet that we're going to machine it from. Let's go ahead and increase the side offset around our part to 1/8 of an inch and increase the stock on the bottom to 1/4 of an inch to leave some material to hang on to with a vise. So the job contains the model information. It contains the information of the stock we're machining the part from. It also defines where our work coordinate system is, or where 0 is going to be at the machine. Here we can see by default, we've got the origin at the top center of our model. I'm going to go ahead and switch that to top corner 3. So now our work offset on our machine will be at the top back corner. At the bottom of the job setup, you're going to see information to define a machine if we'd like to run full machine simulation, as well as capturing some information about how we want to post the code out. We're going to address this later on in the video series when we get ready to post the code out for our machine. So let's go ahead and say OK. And we'll see this little red X next to the toolpath. You're going to see that X next to the toolpath anytime we make a change in the stock that we're machining the model from, or if you make a change to the model in SolidWorks and the geometry changes. Now HSM is indicating we need to regenerate that toolpath based on the changes that you've made. We can simply hit Generate, and we have an updated facing operation that now faces out to the extents of our new stock that we've defined in the job. At this point, I think it's a great opportunity for us to go ahead and click Simulate so we can visualize what this toolpath is looking like. I'm simply going to move down to the Show Stock area to show my stock. I personally like to set the stock as transparent, and in the section under the Show Toolpath, I like to change from Toolpath Before position to Tail at position. That way it keeps things clean while I'm visualizing how this operation is looking. We're going to go ahead and press play and maybe speed the simulation up a little bit to see this facing operation machine across the top of our part. We can click OK to get out of the simulation. So with that, you should have a good feel for the layout of the product, how we move from the Feature Manager, where we're containing the history of how we've modeled the part, to the CAM Manager, where we contain the history of how we're going to manufacture the part. We also know what a job is. And finally, we're seeing operations inside of the job that are the different operations we're going to use to machine this part. With that basic foundation of the software, let's move on to the next video where we begin creating the remaining operations to machine this part. Our final video in this series will look at post-processing the code for your specific machine.